Thanks, Sangha. So yes, we will be doing some bit more meditation, some meditation workshop this evening, but there will be a chance to switch. So if you want a chair and you want to go on cushions or vice versa, there'll be a chance to do that in a little bit. So some of you may be thinking, I don't look very much like Vimala Dasa or Satyajyoti, who you may have been expecting, and you'd be right. I'm Prajnahridaya, hello. And I'll be doing this evening. They're both ill, they both come down with different illnesses, so I'm stepping in. So over the last month, we've been looking at this fundamental Buddhist practice of awareness and seeing how, well, really, hope through this series, you'll probably find that through awareness, everything is there. The whole Buddhist path is laid out for us. And we've seen also that, well, we use this word awareness or mindfulness, and that it's much more than what we might normally think of it, much more than it's used in the secular sense, when it's stripped of its wider Buddhist context. So the Buddha didn't teach mindfulness just as a way of kind of making things a bit better, a bit brighter, though that does happen. He taught awareness as a path, a direct path to realization, to freedom, to realizing the true nature of things. And yes, as is said the Buddha says in the Dhammapada, it's the way to the deathless, which is the name of the theme we're exploring. And this is a great translation of the verse of the Dhammapada where this comes from, which I've not heard before, but it goes like this: wakefulness is the way to life. The fool sleeps as if they were already dead, but the master is awake and lives forever. They see that wakefulness is life. Wakefulness is life. So tonight, in a sense, we're exploring a bit more practically how can we step into aliveness, this wakeful aliveness. So in particular, so this practice of awareness, really, it's about a whole life. It's about a whole life. And it's not, and that includes our action, our livelihood, what we do with our time and energy, our friendships, how we serve, how we contribute to others, how we benefit others. It includes all of this. But a particular spearhead in the cultivating of a more aware, wakeful mind is meditation. So meditation is a particularly important practice. The real kind of weightlifting, you might say, of cultivating meditation, cultivating awareness. Sorry. So we're going to be exploring that tonight by doing some exercises. But before I get to that, I'm going to recap something we've heard before. If you're here for the week where Paranita gave a talk on 3 aspects of awareness or aspects of mindfulness, I'm going to be recapping those a bit and also saying a bit about them in the context of meditation. And then we're going to do some meditation that will explore that directly. I'd actually meant to get the flip chart up, so apologies, because there's these 3 really nice Pali words, but hopefully you may remember them. I'll say them and I'll say their English translation. So there's 3: sati, sampajanna, and aparamada. Got the order slightly wrong in how we'll do it, but yeah, so sati, aparamada, sampajanna. Sati means something like bare recollection, or even its literal translation is just recollection. So sati, and it's what's often most commonly translated as mindfulness. And these 3 aspects they come as a package. So they're not 3 different ways of doing mindfulness or awareness. They're 3 aspects of the complete, aware, integrated state. So firstly, number 1, sati. Or, as I said, is sometimes just translated simply as mindfulness. This is perhaps what we're most familiar with. It's about a direct, present moment experience of our senses. And I said literally it means recollection. We recollect ourselves. So this includes the direct experiencing of our bodily sensations. So particularly in meditation, we're particularly concerned with the physical sensations of the body. In everyday life, it's more than just that. It includes awareness of others as well, for example. But in meditation, it's particularly the physical sensations and embodied experience, which Sangha explored very beautifully recently, and how rich a place that can be. In particular as well, a particularly important aspect of this is learning to recognize and to be with experiences, feelings of pleasure and pain, even neutral feeling. This is how, there's this important teaching of the gap. This is how we practice being in the gap, where we can be with these feelings of, oh, I want this, or oh, I don't want that, or oh, I don't like this, can I make it change, or oh, can I get more of that? Being with those feelings, but without reacting, without feeding those impulses to change things all the time, or to push things away. Yes. But one important thing I want to say, so a key, or even the key to this aspect of awareness, particularly in meditation, although I'd say outside meditation as well, is learning to enjoy and appreciate mindfulness for its own sake. So learning to really enjoy it, to find pleasure, to find curiosity and interest in just the flow of experience itself. And this means recognizing the freedom that comes from putting down that burden of always trying to change things, always trying to manipulate our experience, make things better, push away the things we don't like. Attending with curiosity to what's there. And probably what we'll find, or what hopefully you'll find if in time, the more you can bring interest and curiosity to your experience, the more interesting it becomes, quite naturally. So that was the first aspect of awareness. Secondly, aparamada, which is sometimes translated as ethical vigilance or ethical awareness, literally means non-heedlessness. So not being heedless, ethical awareness. So with this aspect of awareness, we're learning to discriminate between skillful and unskillful states of mind. So outside of meditation, this includes our actions and our speech as well. So this kind of watchful, wakeful vigilance where we're noticing, oh, no, I'm not going to do that thing. I'm not going to press send on that email. I'm not going to say that thing that always annoys people or makes me feel embarrassed or whatever it might be. So it includes that. In meditation, particularly, it's awareness of the quality of our mind, whether it's skillful or unskillful. So on the basis of sati, this kind of recollection, this experiencing of things just as a flow and not trying to change things so much. On the basis of that, we learn to recognize whether certain inclinations of our mind will lead to happiness or suffering. And it's sort of as simple as that, and it's difficult, but really learning for ourselves and noticing and asking, if I entertain this state of mind, this train of thought, will that lead to freedom, or will it lead to contraction, to bondage? So really importantly, it's not about being good, like often we hear that word ethics or ethical awareness. You might think, don't do the bad things and do the good things. We don't quite mean it like that. It really means taking full responsibility for ourselves, for our mind, learning for ourselves what happens if I dwell in this state of mind, what happens if I dwell in that state of mind, seeing for ourselves the truth of the law of karma, how our mind creates our world and how our mind creates our happiness or our suffering. So importantly, when we talk about awareness of mind, it includes the body. It's not separate from the body. Body-mind comes together. Mind isn't just this thing up here, though we might sometimes experience it like that. Again, we'll explore that more in meditation. Yes. So, for example, you might find that in meditation, if you're fantasizing, you might find you're fantasizing about eating toast after, like, what kind of toast you're going to have when you get home, how you might reward yourself for staying for the meditation or something, which is, form of craving. Or you might be planning how you're going to put that person in their place in that meeting tomorrow, how you're going to really sort them out, which you might say is a form of hatred. And then when you notice these thoughts arising, these states of mind, you can start to wonder, well, what state of mind am I cultivating here by dwelling in this? Where will this lead? Is that who I really want to become? What will it be like for me? And how will that affect others? So that's what we mean when we talk about ethical awareness. It's really noticing for ourselves the effects of and consequences of our actions, and particularly the states of mind we're cultivating. Because we're always cultivating. It may feel like we're on autopilot, but autopilot is essentially just letting letting the autopilot take the reins and dictate the kind of person we're going to become. And as with sati, where the key practice was learning to appreciate mindfulness for its own sake, here, a key practice in meditation in particular is learning to recognize and dwell in skillful pleasure. Skillful pleasure. So really attending to what has the quality of freedom, expansiveness, and release, and really allowing ourselves to enjoy that and to allow it to grow. This is skillful states of mind have this quality. So if we can learn to recognize that quality of freedom and dwell in that and to allow ourselves to really enjoy it, that will fuel us and allow us to grow and expand and become more connected to the world, to others, and more free and happy ourselves. So thirdly and lastly, sampajanna, usually translated as mindfulness of purpose. Mindfulness of purpose. So this is about staying in contact ultimately with what is of greatest value, what it is we most long for, what we feel our life is truly about and truly for. It's not about having a story, I'm doing this because it will have this effect, ... It's more of a direct, felt, unmediated experience of what really matters and that we're living for that. So in meditation, it might take the form of staying in contact with our inspiration to cultivate loving states of mind, or to cultivate states of mind that are free from craving, that are more content. Being in contact with that, recognizing, gosh, this will really lead to my ultimate well-being and will allow me to be such benefit to others as well. So again, the Buddhist perspective on meditation is that we don't meditate just to try and feel good. If that is our motivation, probably it won't work so well. Maybe for some people it will. But yes, we meditate because it's the path to awakening. We meditate ideally so we can move towards what it is we most truly long for, what it is that all human beings ultimately are seeking. That's something that we're all, whether we know it or not, trying to move towards individually and collectively. The more we can contact that in our own way, in our own particular form, the more we'll really meditate. That's the real fuel for practice and for meditation more specifically. And it's there, it's natural, it's our birthright. We just need to contact it. We'll all have it to some degree. It's just a case of learning to recognize and contact that sense of purpose in our life. And then, so the third key practice, the key practice here, or a key practice, I should say, is learning, really recollecting and dwelling in what it is we most truly long for, what it is that what our heart wish really is, and allowing that to fuel our practice. Okay, so we're going to do something very practical now. We're going to do some meditating. Just a bit of advice first, a few kind of tried and tested points for whenever approaching any meditation, but is firstly, don't worry if it doesn't seem to be working. Try and drop any idea of what you think this is supposed to happen or how this is going to work. Anything that ever happens in meditation is never what you expect anyway, so let's just drop that. Don't judge yourself. Well, no, I shouldn't say that, because then you're going to judge yourself when you judge yourself. But try to be light and playful. Just approach this with curiosity. If you get lost, if you don't know what you're doing, just come back to the body and breath. So that's going to be the anchor throughout. Back to the body and breath with kindness, I should say. So before we transition, Sangha Gita is just going to get us a bit into our bodies.
Well,
sort of.
Only a bit.
A bit. Yeah.
So it's just an invitation if you'd like to just get a bit looser, ready to sit. So our meditation is kind of beginning now. So if you can just gently stand. Notice what your feet are doing. Notice what your knees are doing as you stand. Start to get that feeling in that your awareness is coming down to your feet. Just feel your feet on the ground, cold, warm, grounded, as if you've got a big T-Rex tail, a T-Rex tail on the ground. And tummy is loose. And we're just going to start with gently stretching up to the ceiling. And as you go up, look at that beautiful blue sky above, and just twiddle your arms like that. So turning one way. Notice what your breathing's doing, turning the other way. Notice what your breathing's doing. And twiddle your fingers. And just swaying from side to side. Just gently swaying. What are your feet doing? While you're swaying, are your feet nice and planted and earthed? Gently bring your arms down. Roll your chin down to your chest. Left ear to left shoulder, rolling over to the side. Breathe in. Breathe out as you roll down across the chest. Breath out, breath in, over to the right ear. Breathe in. Breathe out over the chest again, rolling round. And keep doing that if your neck is sensitive. But if it's not sensitive and you can go all the way around, then breathe in as you go back. But gently, gently, slowly, slowly, slowly. Noticing all the cricks and cracks as you do that. Slowly all the way around. And then when you get to the bottom, slowly, slowly, slowly all the way around again. Noticing all of the cricks as you go. What are your feet doing? What's your tail doing? What's your belly doing? Allowing your chest and your chin to just rest there for a little bit. Big breath in through the belly. And as your chin comes up, you can roll your shoulders up as well. Roll your shoulders up and round and back. What are your feet doing? What's your tail doing? Notice the breath. And then rolling in the opposite direction. Gently put your hands on your hips and slowly just twisting one way. Feet facing forward, knees facing forward, just twisting one way. Knees facing forward, hips facing forward, just twisting the other way to look behind you. And allowing the pelvis to roll like that, like a hula hooper. Just a few ways one way, a few times one way. Breathe. Are you still breathing? What are your feet doing? Just like, like a bit of an Elvis jiggle with your knees. And the whole body, just jiggle. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And the whole body, just standing still. And finding your posture, trying to you're just kind of gently, gently staying with a bit of awareness around those bits of the body that we just breathed into. The neck and the shoulders and fingers and, just a general awareness of the whole body as you get into your meditation posture. And Prajnahridaya will take it from here.
So to begin with, we'll be meditating for 7 minutes a time, something like that. And to begin with, we'll be exploring sati, mindfulness of our present moment, embodied experience. And after each meditation, there'll be a short chance to pair up with somebody and talk about what happened, how that was. So to begin with, just relaxing, arriving. Right from the get-go, we're setting this intention, this mode of not trying to get anywhere. We're not trying to meditate. We're putting that down and allowing awareness to take the reins. Feeling contact with the ground. Feeling sensations in your feet and hands. Sinking your mind into your body. Sensations in the lower half of the body. And then inhabiting our upper part of our body. Relaxing our shoulders. Letting go of our face. Unclenching the neck. Releasing the belly. And breathing. Feeling the movements, the sensations of breathing through our whole body. And then broadening our awareness, aware of the space around us, of the room we're in. Noticing and hearing sounds. Just listening, not interpreting. "25% of your attention is on the breath." Just lightly anchored, and then attending to the breadth of your whole embodied experience with the rest. And seeing if you can get curious. What happens if I stay with this experience without trying to do anything with it? What will I discover if I'm simply curious, inhabiting the sensations through your body? Or if you can't feel in contact with much, perhaps your hands and your feet, giving them a wriggle if you need to. Just being with whatever's there, breathing with it, softening and relaxing into it. There's no way to get this right. We're just being curious. And then letting go, just sitting for a few moments. So opening your eyes. And now just a couple of minutes, turn to the person next to you. And maybe if we all don't talk too loud, we won't all need to talk loud. It might work in theory. So pair up, and it's just a chance to share anything you noticed, anything that happened during that meditation. If you find yourself on your own, just join with a pair, and you can be in a three. But I'll ring a bell after 1 minute, so you can swap over. You need to be quicker if you're in a three. Okay, go.
You go first, please. It was a bit freer.
Swapping over.
Like that's part of my experience. So yeah, it's nice to be close to feel like I've got some stuff going on today, so perhaps not positive emotions. And I was alright with that when that stuff came up, and I was at peace with it. It felt fine.
So if there's any unfinished threads, you can take them to your group. There'll be a chance to share anything from the session this evening. So we're going right back in. So yeah, into your meditation posture again. And this time we're going to be exploring whistle-stop tour of aparamada, ethical awareness. Coming back to our awareness of our body and broad awareness of space and sound. Just relaxing, allowing awareness to arise naturally. Contact with the ground, hands and feet. Inhabiting our body. Anchored in the breathing. Again, just 25% of our attention. So the rest of us is attending to the breadth of our experience. We're open, receptive to whatever comes next. Now noticing, where does your mind want to go? Where is it right now? Have there been, or is there now, any thoughts emerging? Whatever is arising in your mind, starting to wonder, what would happen if I dwelt on this further? It could be a memory or a fantasy, or it could be something more expansive, dwelling in the sensations of your body. But you don't need to generate anything, just see what arises and be curious. With whatever arises, asking, will this inclination of my mind lead to freedom or to contraction? To liberation or suffering? And we're just noticing that, becoming aware of that, not trying to make anything change. Still anchored with light awareness of the breath. Softening, breathing into whatever's there. And now, looking for, is there anything we can find in our experience that has the quality, however small, of openness, of release? It could even just be sensation in our hands. It could be in our heart. We might have no feeling in particular, but just with curiosity, attending to this quality, seeing if we can notice it anywhere. And just resting our awareness in that place or with that intention. It might just be the subtle sensation of energy in the body. Or noticing if there's any part of you that does feel content just being here right now. What our mind dwells upon grows. And then letting go, just sitting for a few moments. So once again, pairing up or joining a three. A little chance to share anything from that exercise. Swapping over. Just as a quick postscript, I just want to reiterate how important it is. When we talk about the practice of ethics in Buddhism, so much of it is about learning to dwell and derive nourishment from skillful pleasure. I'm saying that with Buddhist ethics, so much of it's about learning to dwell in and be nourished by skillful pleasure, so that we're more and more drawn on and motivated by what is skillful and finding our satisfaction there. And meditation is a great place to kind of train ourselves in that pleasure that's expansive and liberating. So, coming back into awareness. Our final exercise, sampajanna, mindfulness of purpose. And I've been looking forward to this one. So in your own way, coming back into your embodied experience, relaxing, supported by the ground. light anchor on the breath. Open and receptive to your whole experience. Just being with whatever is there. And now dropping in a question. Asking yourself, what do I most long for in this life? What do I most long for in this life? Asking the question, dropping it in like a pebble, and then just waiting, just being with your whole experience. We're not trying to think about this. We're sending the question to our depths. What is my heart wish for myself? Inhabiting your body, softening, breathing into your experience. What do I most long for? Holding the resonance of the question like watching ripples in a pool of water. Letting it resonate through your being. Just being open to whatever may arise. It may be that nothing arises, and that's okay. Something may arise later today, or even later this year. We're gently opening up to what it is we feel most drawn to, most called to in this life. and letting go, just sitting. So one last chance to pair up on getting a 3. Just a couple of minutes sharing. Swapping over. Yeah.
Just try to accept it now.